Jay of Stretford, Paddock. Real Sociedad 0, Manchester United 1. Joining me is Joel Smith for the live review. It's a win in Spain, in the Europa League, but it's not enough, is it?
No.
It's a little bit frustrating.
It is frustrating, and it is annoying, but you can't be that mad at getting 15 points out of 18 in a group. I know it's the Europa League, and it's not like Bayern Munich where they just get fucking 18 points a season in the Champions League. I appreciate it's not particularly impressive, but it's hard to be too critical, I think, when going and winning games in Spain in any European competition is notoriously difficult. When the reverse fixture of this game in Manchester was won on a not just lucky penalty, but a penalty that was against the rules of football. Like, the ball, it should not be a penalty given as handball if the ball hits another part of the defending player's body before it hits their arm, which is exactly what happened. So, also, I'm not making excuses in terms of, why United didn't win tonight by more goals. There was multiple things that played into that. But really, what I'm saying is, I'm not that disappointed because we've been all right. Like, we should have scored more goals against Sheriff and Ammonia, and if we had, we'd have gone through. But you can't be that annoyed at getting 15 points in a group match, in a group stage. That's about as good as you can do. It's not, what I mean? It's one win away from being the best you can do, and unfortunately, Sociedad won all their other games as well. So it's just a bit shit. But I can't be too annoyed because they've done all right, really. Yeah,
I think it's just the annoying thing was the game was almost going perfectly. You get that first half goal, then you think, right, in the second half now we just need another goal, and obviously we're through. We weren't amazing in the first half, but I thought we were good value for our 1-0 win. Great to see Garnacho getting on it. Second half, you think, okay, now we can get at him a bit more. You bring on Rashford or whatever, and it just didn't really materialise. And we were saying it on the watch long. I think we sort of sunk to their level. Like, they were arguing a lot with the ref. They were sort of arguing, play acting and throwing themselves on the floor. The ref was falling for it a lot, and we were buying into it. We were arguing. We were just seemed to lose a little bit of our rhythm, and that was a really frustrating thing because, we're the better team. I firmly believe that, and I think we could have got that second goal and obviously avoided that extra game. And yeah, it is a little bit frustrating. A lot of people will look back at this, not just as tonight, but over the whole course of the group stages. How do you think United have fared in the group stages? Because like you say, it's just one result that's not gone our way, which normally you top the group like that. So it's not like it's been a disaster. But then again, the sort of flip side to that is you look at that group and you think United should be winning all those games, really.
Yeah. We should have scored more goals. The Sheriff games and the Armenia games where we've had tons and tons of chances and just not put them in. That's like Adam was saying on the watch along. That's really what's put us out. Like, you can look at the refereeing decision in that first game against Sociedad, a game that United didn't deserve to lose. Really, I know it was a tricky game, but we didn't. They weren't the better team in that game. So I think that was unlucky. The ref tonight, I can't understand how he let the game go the way it did. First off, it seemed like he wasn't giving anything. He was being quite sort of firm, quite strict, playing on a lot and saying that fouls weren't, or heavy contact wasn't always a foul. And then second half, not just was everything a foul, there was a point where just everything was a booking. Like, Delo won the ball and sort of held someone off and got yellow carded for it. Martinez got yellow carded for basically slide tackling and winning the ball. Like, the ref just got to a point where the game had gotten away from him, that their players were taking as long as they possibly could to walk off the pitch, getting booked as they were walking off, time wasting every single second they possibly could. Any single touch, they're down on the ground for a minute. Like, Sociedad completely played a game of, we're going to do everything we can to waste time from the start, and the ref never really punished him the way he would have needed to stop him doing it. He just essentially let them do it.
Yeah.
And the game became sort of this cut up sort of mess where United couldn't establish any control, couldn't establish any kind of dominance of the game because it was just being sliced up and chopped up every 2 seconds by the ref buying into Real Sociedad's tactics.
It almost felt slightly performative, didn't it, booking out lad as he was walking off. It's like, let me get away with so much, I'm just going to put this player who's walking off because, to show I'm doing something about it when he's already practically off the pitch anyway, and it doesn't make any difference to anything. It was, I do feel, and I hate when we've lost, or not lost, but not got the result we wanted, I should say, looking at referees and talking about referees, but you have to call it as you see it. And it was a really frustrating game to watch because of all that. The low one in particular was just so egregious. It was just ridiculous. Yeah. It's a good tackle. It's a strong defending. You see that a million times in football, and he's given a foul and a free kick to Sociedad. Ridiculous. You might not like the result, but give us a like in the comments in the chat. Hit that like button. I'll get in some of the comments here. Akash Solomon says Ronnie offered nothing in the second half with hold-up play. Bruno is wasted on the right where he can't affect the game enough. Couldn't hold on to the ball and can't believe we went short on the corner at the end. Don't get me started on short corners. I fucking hate them.
It feels like with Ronaldo at the minute that if you're honest with the situation, he's awful, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, he's playing terribly. Like, he doesn't get on the end of any chances. The pass to Garnacho was excellent. Really, really good to set up the goal. I'm not taking that away from him. But he doesn't make chances for himself. He can't knock it past a player. He can't even stay in front of a player.
No.
Do you know what I mean? There are players that, like, who aren't necessarily great at going around a man with the ball, dribbling past people, but once they're in front of someone, can keep them off. He can't do that. He's finishing. He had a chance. He's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. He's got to knock it over the top of him. Tricky little finish, but for the greatest goal scorer of all time, it's the sort of finish that you would think 1 in 2 he's getting right. But he's had so many chances this season, and what's he scored? 3 goals, 2 goals all season off of 15 chances. Like, he's not involved enough, and when he is involved, he's usually doing something poor.
Yeah.
And like I said before the other week, people saying, "Oh, you can't criticise Ronaldo," or "You can't say that about Ronaldo." Think what he's done for United. You have to hold him to the standard of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Or even a 37-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo, because yes, he's aging. I get that.
If you're going to talk about him,
he's practically useless.
If you're going to talk about him in the way of when he leaves the pitch early and stuff, well, it's Ronaldo. Then you have to judge him like it's Ronaldo when it comes to the playing side of things as well. You can't have it sort of one way or the other, and that is the sort of contradiction. Because you've seen some people saying like, "Oh, when he leaves early, Eric Ten Hag needs to do that, and Eric Ten Hag needs to tell him how many minutes he's got because he's Ronaldo. He's this, he's the GOAT." And then when it comes to performances, you say, "Oh, well, you can't expect him to do everything."
He's 37.
Can't have it one way or the other. The Francie Brady, who's been a member of the academy for 24 months, says, "Thought the first set of subs disrupted the flow of the game. Odd shape change. We were getting the ball up front to players." Liam Pickering says, "No Rice, Jude or Tony. Woodward taught us if you buy English, you buy twice. More overhyped English Dortmund use is the definition of insanity." I think he's talking about potential
Bellingham.
Yeah. Callum Jones says, "Eric Ten Hag got this wrong. We lost with putting Delo centre back." It was a bit of a strange, going into the subs. The sort of the one that stands out, obviously, is you ended up with a situation where you had Harry Maguire up front. Which I don't think anyone expected. I think we were joking about it during the watch along. Then that's what happened. It was like, we'll stick Harry Maguire up front and pump balls up and hopefully he can get his head on something. But that didn't really work, did it?
The reason why that's happened, obviously, is because we've got one striker that's fit. I mean, I know Rashford's playing as a number 9 a bit at the moment for United, but he's played most of his games on the left-hand side. That's where I think he's at his best. We've got one proper number 9 in Cristiano Ronaldo who's fit. He's not really doing anything. He's not doing enough, certainly. Martial's not fit. And that is it. That's our only number 9s. So when we're chasing a game, especially when Antony's not fit as well, Sancho's not fit as well, what we're going to do? We've already brought Rashford on. Yeah. We've already got Garnacho from the start, who I think this is his second ever start for Manchester United, and it's worked because he scored a goal, which is great. But there's no one else to bring on. Like, we needed to do something, and who else is it going to be? Zidane Iqbal, I don't think is much of a goal scorer, even at academy level, let alone bringing him in again for his first taste of this level of football, and expecting him to bring goals. No. There were no options. Donny van der Beek, someone who's meant to be creating and meant to do that, he didn't do anything either. So I find it hard to blame the manager when, just looking at personnel, he had so few options off the bench. You've got 5 subs, a great mix, 5 subs. He's trying to do something a bit different. He's trying to do something creative. He's taking off this player, he's putting Maguire up front. He's trying to do something, but he can't. He can't just magic up a 6'4" goal-scoring centre forward who doesn't exist at Manchester United.
No.
So Harry Maguire happens instead. But I can't blame the manager for that, really. Can you?
No, I think you get a bit of an eye-opener with the strength of our squad at times because obviously we've been doing well in the league. We've had some really good results, and the signings that Eric Ten Hag's made have been massively positive signings, and I've been impressed with all of them. Lisandro Martinez again today was outstanding, but we're still short. And I still feel that. And okay, Anthony's injured, and Sancho and Martial are also injured. But other teams have injuries, and I hate talking about them because I fucking hate them. But they are almost the benchmark at times. You look at City. City have 2 or 3 injuries, and they've still got a lot of world class players they can bring in. We have 2 or 3 injuries, and we're struggling. We end up playing Harry Maguire up front, or we end up sort of having to rely on Donny van de Beek, who's played about an hour of football in 6 months or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you think, okay, Garnacho's a youngster who's come in and he's done well, but we should have more options than that. And it still feels like, yes, we spent money in the summer, but we need to spend more. And I think that anyone, who's realistic about where United are and where we need to be, which is challenging for titles and challenging for Champions Leagues, knows we need reinforcements. And I think games like today sort of give you that reminder. Do you know what I mean? When you see things, it's not just Harry Maguire up front, but some of the other players we were relying on, and you look at the bench, and you've got players like Shoretire and Elanga on the bench, and you think, can you turn to them? Are they going to be the answer? Do you know what I mean? I know Elanga's played a lot of first team football, but it's like, it still feels like we're lacking a little bit. And I think it's not the end of the world. Listen, I like what Eric Ten Hag's doing, and I'm confident in him. I know he's getting a little bit of stick off some people in the chat, sort of questioning his decisions and the fact that we had Harry Maguire up front. But like you saying, that's not necessarily his fault. It's just, there's not the options there that he'd want. But I think that, we have to keep backing him. We backed him last summer to a decent degree. I still think we can buy more players. I still think we should have got a striker. But I think either in January, hopefully, or at least next summer, we have to go again. I think we do, because you know what, Europa League's all well and good, but we want to be challenging for titles. We want to be challenging in the Champions League, and I don't think we're going to do that with this squad.
And you can't blame Ten Hag for us missing 10 chances against Ammonia at home, or us missing 5-6 chances away at Ammonia, or us missing 3 or 4 chances against Sheriff. Like, you can't blame him for that. He puts the team out there, gives them the tactics to create chances. By the time the ball is hitting the foot of the striker for a shot, that is in the hands of the striker then. That's not Ten Hag's business. Yeah. What Rashford does in front of goal, what Ronaldo does in front of goal. He gives the players the systems and the structures to consistently make chances and stop the opposition making chances. And you can't argue that he's done that. In the league, and certainly in the Europa League, we've had so many chances that we've missed, so many massive easy chances that have gone begging in this group stage. So for me, looking at a 15 out of 18 point group stage and somehow blaming the manager for something, I don't even know what you're blaming him for. What, a bad mistake by a referee in the Sociedad game, or our players missing shitloads of chances for the last 6 matches? I don't even think there's any blame to be dished out. Certainly not to the manager. Like, we've won the game tonight as well. Let's not forget. I don't think we need to blame the manager for any people missing chances or not getting involved in the game. And also, Harry Maguire, he's not a centre forward, so I wouldn't blame him either. Like, no. It's just a shit situation where we've not got any options off the bench. You can see what he tried to do, didn't quite work out. Oh well, we'll play Barcelona and let's beat them next. Yeah, there's been hours and hours of football in this Europa League group where we should have done better. Yeah, not just Sociedad at home was frustrating. Obviously, that penalty that shouldn't have been a penalty. But there's been other games where we've played poor opposition. We only just beat, was it Ammonia at home with a late goal from Scott McTominay? We missed a load of chances again. I think that was against Ammonia away. Yeah, where we could have battered him. That could have been about 6-0 or 6-1 or whatever, or 6-2. But we just end up, barely getting. Well, Ronaldo missed that one off the 6-yard line with basically an open goal in front of him. Yeah, there's a defender stood on the goal line. The goal is the other side of him, and he hits the post. Like, it's not just Ronaldo. I'm not just. But Rashford missed loads of chances. There's lots of things that have led to this point where, in the last 5 minutes of a game, you're pumping balls up to Harry Maguire. Yeah, there's a lot more than just those 5 minutes. Andre Barbarossa, who's been a member of the first team for 24 months, says, "I love him, but CR37 just isn't bringing anything to this team right now." Clan of Top G says Ericsson is finding difficult with quick players. I thought Ericsson did all right tonight. A couple of people having a dig at Ericsson. I thought he was all right. 6.8 millimetres. Ten Hag had terrible tactics in the second half. Stephen Ramusen says we were poor all round. Get Suga 9094 says people can't give excuses for Ronaldo anymore. That miss was a joke. 800 plus goals. I think 700 in it. Or is it 800 plus? 800 in all comps, yeah, with his internationals as well. Sorry, you could have fooled me. Yeah, a lot of people looking at Ten Hag's tactics in that second half and saying it didn't work and he got it wrong or whatever. But you can sort of see what he was trying to do. We won 1-0. Come on, we won the game.
I just feel that, like I say, it's been a frustrating campaign in the sense that we've watched all these games, obviously, I'm sure everyone has, and I can't remember seeing a game in the Europa League where I've gone, we've dominated that game. We've just absolutely, from start to finish, looked completely comfortable, completely smashed it. You know, it was at the Ammonia, I think it was the Ammonia game at Old Trafford. And one of my mates was joking because he had childcare issues. He's like, I might, wonder when I can leave. Maybe I'll leave at half time if we've got a couple of goals. We scored the winner in the 94th minute.
The most comfortable game.
Terrible.
We still should have scored more goals, but the only one where I felt like this is sorted was Sheriff away. Do you know was it 2-0?
Yeah,
that was
Jack Sancho scored.
Yeah, where he just felt like. We're fine here.
Yeah.
But the Ammonia away, 3-2, we bet, scraping by almost there, 1-0 down.
Yeah.
Like you said, Ammonia at home, Sociedad at home lost. Sociedad away, we won, but it didn't feel like a win because it wasn't the win we needed. It was just a bit tricky, wasn't it? We're still getting used to Ten Hag's system. He's gone for something a bit different today. Not really pulled it off.
Adam McCall in the chat makes a great point. Like the video, people. Over 1,300 people watching. Not even 100 likes. That is a disgrace. And don't forget as well to subscribe. Burnside is back. Says, weird fan base. One game. Ronaldo, nice assists. Young boy who'll be a star. Through, but no, let's pop off at 800 goals and new manager. Pathetic. I kind of half agree with that. I think you can question Ronaldo and say, yes, he got an assist though. The thing with Ronaldo is you look at teams like Sociedad, who's got that great record against, and you look at his performance tonight and you think, even 1 or 2 years ago, I'd have fancied him to score tonight. I fancied him to do damage. It's not quite happening for him this season. Do you know what I mean? And
it's more than not quite happening for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's been poor this season.
Yeah.
And the difference between criticising Ronaldo or criticising Ten Hag is, and you feel free to criticise anyone you want after any game.
Well, this isn't MUTV. You can do what you want.
But the reason why I would criticise Ronaldo and not Ten Hag is because the trend of this season is Ten Hag successfully implementing a system that is making United harder to beat and harder to score goals against and winning more games and more points than we did last season. The trend of Ronaldo this season is missing chances and being anywhere between anonymous and disruptive to the squad by leaving early. It's not the same. It's not one game in isolation. I'm judging the whole season that we've seen so far before I criticise Ten Hag or Ronaldo. Ronaldo's just not been good enough, and I think Ten Hag largely has been good enough. It's not like, look at tonight, he's done a good pass to Garnacho, so he's been great. What are you on about? Look at the whole season and tonight. It's not been good enough at all, has it?
It's sad to me a little bit because. Yeah, we're going a couple of minutes, then we'll wrap up. But it's sad to me that, a player that I love, a player that's given me so many fantastic memories, so many good nights, obviously winning the Champions League, the Ballon d'Or, 3 titles in a row. Even last season, there was some moments, a couple of hat-tricks and stuff. Watching him now, he looks like he's on his way out. To me,
yeah.
I might be wrong. He might defy the odds. He's done it all his career. He might come back and end up scoring loads of goals and finish, on 20 odd goals this season, whatever. I'd be very surprised. And you watch him in those games against Ammonia and teams like that. It was just, dross basically. Ronaldo's never even been in the Europa League because he's never been bad enough to be in it. He's always been in a team that's either not just in the Champions League, but more often than not winning it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you look at his record, he's been in so many finals. It's ridiculous, including 2 with United. Sorry. So you look at him now and you see him getting angry, getting frustrated. Players who you went through that Real Sociedad team, I've never even heard of half of them. Do you know what I mean? I'm not exactly all fair with Spanish football, but you think these aren't players.
They're not sort of well recognised.
Yeah, these aren't players that should be keeping a player of the calibre of Cristiano Ronaldo quiet. And we've had this time and time again, and it's just kind of sad because you're watching a player that you love and a player that's done so much for you. And I hate. Seeing fans turn on him. I was at the game the other day, and it felt like a lot of the crowd are sort of losing a bit of love for him.
Yeah.
Because there's times when people are having a go, and you think it just seems like it's all going a bit sour. And one of the reasons I love Eric Cantona so much, well, there's a load of reasons, but he went out on a high. He won the league and he retired. Yeah. And you've always got that there wasn't him fading out. I didn't have to watch Eric Cantona score 3 goals in a season and get people shouting at him as he missed sitters against Stoke.
Looking a bit chubby in his top. And,
do you know what I mean? There was none of that. He went out on a high, Do you know what I mean? Won the league, scored important goals along the way, and everyone sort of, that's your overriding, or last, sorry, not your overriding, your last memory of Eric Cantona. With Ronnie, it just feels like we're watching this once great player fizzle out, and it's just a bit sad to see. Joe, where can people find you?
Joe Smith 93 on Twitter and Instagram.
Make sure you check out Joe Smith on his Instagram, on his Twitter, and also check out the Sloppy Joe's podcast. Mac, have you got a link for your stuff? Have you got one?
I'll put it in the description.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat or in the description. Adam McCall's going to be on live on his channel as well. There's a link in the description, I think. So go and check that out. And make sure, if you're not doing already, to subscribe to this channel. There's a link in the chat to subscribe to the channel. We want to get to 700,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And with your support, we can do it. Go on, my friend.
Let's be positive.
Go on.
Look forward to seeing United versus probably a European great in the next round. We might see Barcelona, we might see Sporting, we might see Ajax, we might see Juventus. Like, there's going to be a good two-legged tie in the next round.
I think
could be a really exciting fixture for United.
United versus Barcelona, no matter what UEFA say, is a Champions League game.
Yeah,
I'm refused to accept. We'll just play the Champions League music on our phones at the ground.
Do you know how?
Yeah.
Do you know
that is what we'll do?
Do you know how tonight that list of like criteria as to who went through? The bottom one was UEFA coefficient.
Right.
Do you know if a game is the coefficient is so high that it technically counts as a Champions League?
It breaks the algorithm.
We'll ring UEFA up and find out.
We'll say like this is. They might just say this is fuck it. This is just the Champions League.
Fuck it. This is the final. This is the Champions League final.
So United are through to the Champions League final. There, we've just decided that. Go check out Joe. You know where to find me. There's a link in the description to Macca. He's going to go live on his channel now. So go and hear what he has to say about Manchester United winning, but not quite winning enough over in Sociedad. This has been the review. Thanks for watching.